Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why solo leveling is actually hated and accused of essentially being weird incel bait. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Recently, solo leveling has been getting some hate over a romantic subplot between Cha-hei and Sang Jin-woo, with some people accusing the series of being an incel anime that brings one of the biggest fantasy of anime fans to life, being the only one who doesn't stink for once. And I find the hate towards solo leveling really bizarre. Yes, the plot is definitely strange, and Cha-hei-in wouldn't have even glanced at Jin-woo if he didn't smell good. But compared to Azel and Captain Oblivious here, who doesn't even notice how she reacts to him? It's not even the weirdest side story in the anime in terms of romantic development. I also find it amusing that solo leveling, an anime that aside from Cha-hei-in's slightly larger chest is free from weird camera angles and overused anime tropes, is now being torn apart by some small percentage of anime haters, in the same way as Mushoku Tensei, which was way more explicit. At this point I feel like anime gets hate just for being anime. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm the last person to tell others what they should like or try to silence them. They are free to critique any anime for any perceived reason they want. And there are actually plenty of things to criticize in anime, from unnecessary stretched out fight scenes to filler episodes that only really exist so the manga can stay ahead of the anime, and then there's also the seasonal structure of anime, which has led fans to develop a long-term memory similar to that of a goldfish. And then there's the exaggerated and annoying fan service, and I'm not just talking about like physical things, but I'm also talking about something like pet characters of the author, like really weak characters, manage to defeat really strong characters just because the author likes this weak character or just because they are popular and you just want to give the fans exactly what they want, no matter how stupid it is for the larger development of the plot, or how often the plot seems to bend to the protagonist's will. Like this whole Deus Ex Machina phenomenon is annoying to say the absolute least. And the anime industry itself also faces valid criticism, with its long working hours and often poor pay relative to the effort and time invested. And this issue now has also reached the agenda of the Japanese government. But I think a lot of this so-called critique in this regard, and I'm being also really generous with the term critique, is just an excuse to completely tear down a medium that some people don't like. Oh, and fun fact, this whole smell component actually has a cultural background, because in many Asian societies, being bothersome to others is viewed negatively. And this applies not just to bad body odor, but also to excessive perfume and other overpowering scents, which are considered unpleasant and an annoyance to the wider public. A subtle neutral or slightly pleasant smell is generally preferred. And of course, there are differences. I mean, East Asia isn't just millions of people, but we are talking about over 1 billion here. And still I found it interesting that seemingly this odd plotline in solo leveling, an anime where the protagonist just acts like a normal person, takes care of his own mother and sister, and where female characters aren't overly sexualized, is now being harshly criticized. And to wrap things up, let me explain why hunters in solo leveling smell so bad that Cha-hei-in actually needs a handkerchief to cover her nose. Because there's an interesting lore aspect to it. Because when a person awakens as a hunter, gaining magical energy that makes them stronger faster and grants them superhuman abilities, like physical strength or magical spells, their other senses also get enhanced and heightened. For example, even as an E-rank hunter, Sang Jin-woo could hear negative comments about him from far away and precisely filter them out because of his acute hearing, despite the busy and noisy atmosphere in South Korea during working hours. In other words, Hunter's senses are greatly heightened, but Sang Jin-woo didn't suddenly grow cat ears or anything like that, just as Shah-In's heightened sense of smell didn't come with any visible changes to her nose or something like that. And while having a sharp nose might seem useful, the reality is that the scent of hunters is overwhelmingly bad. And the reason for this comes down to how we perceive smell, how we actually smell, how all of this works, because we detect tiny particles of substances of a certain thing in the air when they enter our nose. So in combination with magic, this leads to an overwhelmingly strong odor. Since magic is something foreign to our world, we don't have a natural sense of smell for it. But just as magic enhances a hunter's physical abilities, it also amplifies their scent, because not only do sweat and dead skin cells enter the nose, but also the magical particles of the human body of the hunter that these things are from enter the nose as well and then enhance the smell of these particles, thus creating this overwhelmingly bad sense of smell. And with that said, the lore segment of this video is also complete. And again, like I said, I understand criticism, but I find it funny how some people in the comment sections of YouTube videos and Reddit threads and of course on Twitter are so unhinged about the anime. But again, this is just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all of my viewers and have a nice day. Order Daddy Order, ASK, Bad Girl Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon S, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placidus Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merowek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.